Hi, my name's Lhorna. Welcome to Magnuson Park. We're going to do our class outside today because it's beautiful, and also it keeps Rollo busy. That's Rollo right there. He's usually my helper, but today he's not feeling like helping very much. So we're going to make clay elephants, and I know that sounds like it's going to be hard, but it really won't be. Sometimes it's difficult to figure out how you want to make it if you don't already have one to look at, but for me, I think it's easier if you don't have one to look at, because then you're not comparing yourself to your work with someone else's work. So let's get started on that now. The first thing you're going to want to do is get yourself a big chunk of clay. So get yourself a chunk of clay kind of like this. And then just start forming it into a ball. And you're really going to want to kind of squeeze out the air bubbles. It's always a good idea with clay to get all the air bubbles out. Sometimes they're pretty hard to remove. So you're going to want to do that first before you start rolling it around. So now that I feel like I've squeezed the air bubbles out, and you might want to continue doing that for a little bit longer. Then you just start rolling it on your hard surface. And you can, if you roll it around, then it'll pretty much form your ball for you. So if it looks like it's getting a little flat on one side, well, then you're going to want to roll it the other way. Wherever you see a corner, see, like there's a little corner right here. To make your ball into a ball, you just kind of roll it, go ahead and roll it on the corner. So I'll wait for everybody to catch up so that we all have a ball. And because we're making elephants, you're going to want your ball to be as smooth as possible. All right, now that you have a perfectly round ball, I'm going to ask you to ruin it. We're going to take about 20% of that ball and set it to the side. See, that's my way of getting everybody to practice making a ball. So go ahead, squeeze it all again, get those air bubbles out. This is another way you can get air bubbles out if you just want to hit it against your hard surface. Go ahead and get your ball going again. Rub it in between both your hands. It doesn't have to be perfect. We're not going to use it to play any sports, and nobody's going to grade you bad on your ball. All right. Now what you're going to want to do is start pinching your clay. For me, and it's kind of like making a little pot. So for me, I like to stick my knuckle in there. And if you have smaller hands, you can like stick both of your fingers in there. And then they call this a pinch pot because you just kind of pinch it around the rim like so. You're going to want to make it pretty deep. And you can get the sides pretty thin. If your clay gets dry at all, I like to put water on my mat. So if your clay gets dry, you're going to want to add water. And then on the top here, if it's getting too wide around this rim, you can kind of just overlap it like this. Squeeze it together. Squeeze it together. I'm dealing with a little bit of the wind, so my clay is drying out a little bit faster than normal. You don't want to add too much water though, because then it gets sticky. Yeah, it's a little thing right there, which is okay. All right, now what you're going to do is you're going to remove 4 different little pieces, 4 chunks. So here's one that I'm removing. And here's another one. Yeah, my clay is a little sticky. I'm going to smooth my clay out a little bit just because I got a little crazy with it. So I'm looking at the other side, and I'm just wanting it to be smooth. See, like there's little lines and things right here. Oops. So I'm just gonna smooth it out. I don't want any other little wrinkles, because I don't know if you've seen an elephant lately, but they have pretty smooth skin. I mean, they have wrinkles too, but if we're making them out of clay, we want them to be pretty smooth. And then I got some lumps back here, so I want to fix those. And if I just rub my finger along them, then it ends up being pretty smooth. Of course, I don't want it to be perfect, because when you're making things by hand, it's okay to have your little fingerprint on there. All right, I'm gonna go and take out my other two chunks. So here's one. See? Do you see that I've got this chunk, and this chunk? And I kind of want them all to look like this one, honestly, but maybe a little bit smoother. Because my video's got to be 20 minutes, I'm trying to rush a little bit. You see how I've got my 3 chunks out, and I still need my 4th one out, don't I? And I still want to make sure that it's kind of a vase, right? Or a pot. All right, now for my 4th chunk. I'm gonna take it right over here. And then now I'm gonna do some smoothing, making sure to not cover up my 4 chunks. And you kind of end up with, well, I guess it could be a flower, right? Could be a flower. All right, now, remember where we took out those 4 chunks? Now we're gonna kind of make those into little feet. It's probably easier for you to see from the side here. See, you can kind of fold them up. Here's another one. And you'll have to continue to smooth as you're going through. See, I don't want my elephant to have that big of a foot. Uh-oh. And you're going to want to make sure to continue to smooth. So you see how my clay is kind of cracking. So I just want to make sure that I'm continuing to smooth that over. And if I need to add a little bit of water, then of course I'll do that. And if the cracks get too big, don't be afraid to just kind of pinch it together a little bit. Yeah, I'm definitely getting some dry clay here. So there we go. All right, I've got one more leg to go. And it's this one, right over here. But I have a lot of smoothing to still do, don't I? And you can kind of be holding it so it stays in a pot. You'll kind of hold it in the palm of your hand like this, where you're getting the little legs and you're doing the little smoothing. And if it's lumpy on one side and not as lumpy on the other, kind of shift that clay over just by smoothing it over. All right, I'm gonna make sure that his feet will be flat, so I'm kind of pushing them against the little table. Look, that's gonna be his little bottom. So I'm gonna want to make sure it's nice and smooth. Nobody wants a bottom that's not nice and smooth, right? All right. Oh, he's got some wrinkles over here I gotta get out. This is another reason why you want to make sure to have a smooth ball in the beginning, because then it's a lot less work right now, huh? All right. So this is what I've got right now. That's the bottom. It's the little back. And this is the front. Now, do you remember that little ball that we had earlier? that we took away, you're going to want to get that again and make a ball out of that. I'm going to move this away for right now. And I'm waiting for you to do this part. But if you have to pause the video, that's fine too. Make sure you have a couple little scraps of clay, because you're going to want to make a trunk. And the trunk is just kind of made by just going like this. You have a ball, something that looks like a ball, and then you just start rolling it out. And then you can kind of take your ball, and you're going to want to squeeze ears. Another way that you can do it is if you have more clay, you can take a little piece of clay and you can attach ears too. The way that I like to attach stuff is so that it stays better. I like to draw, it's called scoring it. And that just kind of means messing it up a little bit. And you want to mess both parts up because that helps it stay better. And then you want to put both the messed up parts onto each other. It's like that. And you can kind of make the ears like that too. We all know what elephant ears look like, right? You just kind of squeeze them out. And they're flat on the top, I mean, they can be however you like them, but I like mine a little bit flat on the top. And then, got my trunk, and remember what I said about how I like to score the top so that they stay connected. And this is the top of the elephant's head, but this is where I'm going to start with this. So you take your long piece, and you just kind of mush it on there. And then I like my trunk, and of course we're going to be smoothing this out. And I want my trunk to kind of go up a little bit. A little bit more smoothing. And then I'm going to get the body back, and I'm going to attach to whichever side I think that should be the front side. And I think that this should be the front side. So I'm going to mess it up a little. You don't have to have a stick. You can use a butter knife. And the bottom part. And I've got my elephant. But I still have a lot of smoothing left to do. But just so I can conclude the video, I'm going to go ahead and get some eyes on here. And you can use anything to make the eyes that you'd like. And I also know that he's going to need to breathe. So I want him to have a little snout. Now, do I want his eyes to stay like this? I don't know. The fun thing about clay is that you can always change it. Anyhow, I hope that your elephant turned out. Mine's a little bit rushed, but The techniques are there. After you get done making them, make sure to smooth out the sides too. Ah, there you go. Well, I've got a lot of smoothing to do. I'll show you what in the class tomorrow. I'll show you how he turned out. Have a great day.